and welcome back to Disco Elysium.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see...
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everart's Rainbow Coalition.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys, I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization.
Yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Oddly, it seems to be true.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right? Of course, Harry. Stoic silence. I like that. Very befitting a police officer. I'm not a real detective. You are. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor. Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality. Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. About my fun container? It's a hoot, Harry. Who knows? Maybe you'll be in here the next time they move it. It will be very fun, I promise. But enough about me and my container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve
That sounds a bit like...
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that's...
So these idealists...
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to..." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in.
So he doesn't want to counter with a narrative that exonerates the Union. But why?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me. So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sir.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman. Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself.
Interesting.
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Work with them, Hell, interview them, but don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made... I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, yes, Harry, it's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the...
A man of the left. So you have... He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold.
And what would isn't?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those... There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this... Yes, the little cul-de-sac on the coast, where all the men have drowned, in either the sea or the bottle. A gloomy place. Doesn't have that Union attitude. They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to it.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people... Martinez is the most important thing in my life. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up, and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez.
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks,
As I said, it weighs on me heavily.
he's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can. Deliberately omitted.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun. Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder.
Actually, Revachol doesn't. He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him.
See you soon, Debardeur. Just kidding, but not too much.
Container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this Container song are... The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, now belongs to Everard.
it's you again. Are you looking for a die? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. A star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Are you sure? Yes, you definitely have the proper attitude. How about a pair of 100
Pieces of lodestone were
10 real, and I can get these ready in 8 hours. Great. See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. What are you, deaf? They're perfect, like rock star politician and drug addict teacher. Embrace the superstardom you've worked so hard to establish. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen, Salam Rocky Bayi, badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera. Yeah, you know. Beneath it is just heartbreak, a pulmonary tract infection, atherosclerotic disease. This is where you say action. This is the beginning of your legend. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you... This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. Turning the crank feels...
I see you haven't left our little Martinez yet. Still running around. Like some kind of cross-country law official. Aye. But don't let it grow too much. This is not the place to settle down. Now. Are you? This says by signing, I agree to living with... What a nice idea.
She sounds incredulous about the niceness of the idea.
That Evrart and the Union have nice plans for anything. I thought they only cared about themselves. Well, I guess Union members have children too.
And those members have a vote when electing the head of the local chapter.
He has a pen in everything. Here you go. You're welcome. You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask...
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality, I'm sure.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the Union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate... Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched. Last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. It was the Union who strung him from that tree. My hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before Crenel indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can...
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. It doesn't have to be like this, Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorentz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenel. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal. It's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. If you mean did I see him alive? Yeah, Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever... One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
She closes her eyes, trying to pick...
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Classier also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're likely to be armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
One is obviously the scat leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an ear?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their
They don't report their progress to you.
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about she wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hand.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of...
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Preto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this, Revachol. Those are the two constants, Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Vredefort? Vredefort has a military academy. The Semines Islands saw a recent conflict. In Revachol, he was executed.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. I am relieved you think so. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. Is there anything else I can help you with? This
Yes, reality and experimental side case.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs...
We may be here a while then.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez. Baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds... Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities.
Caillou. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch. The Martinez distribute...
It is clear this pebble is and to humanity at large.
Revachol? Revachol, the great kind. History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile-Marat, depending on your creed. In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about...
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like morning stars above.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon. Then this is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory... Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Monsieur will be here later.
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term...
She nods slowly.
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust for the big time, the revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real... Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists... they all got shot in the... Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's neck. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. About head shooting? The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock.
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of a city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the coalition of nations. And you, of course, the city. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to 19 was... The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time. Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Good question. What would you have done differently? Then you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here.
The cold runs down your spine. She gestures toward the waters. The wind stops. There is a dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the...
No, almost certainly. The Commune would have forced you. Such was the fate of the undecided. They picked the winning side. That's why they're here. And perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and let the pines... I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, at least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, I mean. They are what they are. Who knows? Anyway, enough sentimentality.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about...
I could use a breather before another rainy...
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I must say. I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands. Me? No one. Just an old washerwoman. Now it's your turn, Mr... Quite a handle you got there. So many titles. One of them double. Eh? What's this about? Come now, I can't read all this scribble. Tell me what it's... I might be half blind, but it looks like part of the village is gonna be a street. I see Lillian's name is already here. I've seen it all before. You think they've got... Then the poor get pushed out of their homes and the rich get a little richer.
In her mind, the Union is right-wing because Everard is fat. It's that. She is headstrong, but there's a slight hesitation in there. You may be able to convince her.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
It's
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves...
It's real.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up.
Logic and reason won't work on this old bat. Better go for shameless emotional manipulation. What's the grandmother's deepest vulnerability?
What do you mean? I raised my own kids in this village and they are doing fine for themselves. No, they moved to Faubourg for work. Well,
You've got her.
Then, I don't believe the Fat Man's Youth Center is going to change anything. I won't be around much longer anyway. Not with the dampness in my bones. If they want to take a chance, who am I to stop? We do.
Reluctantly, she takes the pen.
See that you didn't just get us all screwed. I might be half blind, but...
Let's go mail it.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and an RCM.
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope. About a week's worth of mail as collected.
Let's go back to Everard. This better be worth it after what we did.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down. The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real... You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything.
Hear that? You did it the honest way. You got the real signatures, and now he's happy. I don't know. Your dirty forgery fingers aren't sure if playing this one straight was the right thing to do. We would have preferred trickery, but the choice was yours, sire. As always. You are the liege, and you're in.
There was no fine print, Harry, but I do hope all that construction noise and limited street access encourages some people to move.
Oops. Yes.
And when they do, they will have a good place to go. I'm currently working on renovating.
He proudly spreads his hands to...
So the village is doomed.
You were there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. Harry, imagine a youth centre, supermarket, church complex. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry.
And then there will be a giant statue of him, towering above it all.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. Damn right I'm up to something, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace. Order it. You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that. Why a war of...
And what do you have to gain?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and the more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He does...
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her it's already happening. Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts with renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership. The men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bulk...
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samarin Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used.
And the kids on the street can get speed and...
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the... But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the...
He's basically admitting to it.
Yes, of course. And while you're doing that, please go ahead and...
Nothing in his features betrays any concern.
Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's... Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steal welders. I'm going to unite them all into one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's going to be in on the wealth, and everyone's going to pull their weight. Harry, the length you're willing to go to keep your nose clean is remarkable. You will always have a warm bed in Mr. Clare's household, my friend, and a special place in the future of Martinez. Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building. As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for detail.
We might be looking at someone with a medical history.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous.
She will be there from 2200 hours till...
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martin... This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
You see several packaged. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer? Oh? Who? Okay. Oh. I've been out on the sea for most... Yes, that's the optimal time. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Anti-Object Task Force. Behold, the Anti-Object Task Force has assembled. God's avenging angel, arrayed against the lower emanations of the Darkened One. Shoe racks, tape recorders, motor carriages.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night.
Hello, mister. Yes, I am. That's nice. My mum is great. She's never angry or anything. It's Lammy.
Lambie is a stuffed lamb.
Yes. very soft. Isn't he soft? Yes. They look the same. They look Luby. My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't.
Kids.
Bye!
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapse in through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk.
She's down there.
Okay. Why? Right. How do we get in there? The doors were under collapse.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
Yes, what is it? I don't want to make anything work. Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work.
Easy. When her research is done, she can move.
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
She thinks about it. A gloss.
All right. Bring me the game's offsite copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself. Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady. Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building cellar. In the giant ice bear fridge! I just told...
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying...
No, that's the production schedule you stole and accessed with...
In his defense, it was simply like...
Okay, but still... Wait, a note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory? Jawiza. Of course! Our project lead, Suliswov Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the... Like it would have made a difference. The offsite copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. And the heads... I won't even get into...
Valley of 1,000 Heads. You like the sound of that.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know. I don't know about the ice cream maker. Just figure something out. The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means. Because she's from Martinez. And people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil. Yes, but she... literally start...
The lieutenant coughs.
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets and amulets. Wards. It's a backup of my former employer's project.
She's making it extra.
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use...
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Oh God, not this again. It is not on-site.
Basement?
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. We clear? Thanks. And here's my Qualsund multi-tool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the offsite copy, then you can keep the Qualsund.
Hey. Psst. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than... Okay, not in so many words, but don't deny it. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or failure? It's about, yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat of you alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering you against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human. Now get to work, comrade. Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. No objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a classless society. Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure I heard someone say cocainism. Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one. Okay then. Lie down and let the... This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeaks beneath. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeaks. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeaks. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeaks beneath your... This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeak, and it's already unplugged. There's not much else. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeak. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeak. This orange machine is dead still. Ice squeak. This orange machine is dead. Darkness lies inside, but you can faintly make out an object, intricate and foreign, left there for a sub-zero beauty sleep. Disappointment washes over you as you stare into the almost empty...
A scoop of ice cream would have been nice, yes.
You gently lift the cube.
We should take it back to Miss Lucan killed as soon as possible. I'm not sure how well an used film...
Yes, but aren't you curious to know what...
Yes, what is it? Yes? Thanks. Looks like it's the one. Now I'm going to print it out to see what's left of it. I have a theory. Lintel was able to divine the location of the anomaly from this broken copy. I want to repeat their calculation. Oh, watch. What an intricate display of failure.
The paper starts filling out with ink, soaking it in a gleaming blackness. Not a single line of data stands out. Sorna doesn't reply, her hands running over the...
Here! I found it! Hold on. Just give me a second. I'm almost...
I've never witnessed a programmer work before.
Done! I've got it! I found the location of the anomaly! I found the coordinates!
Great job.
There, in the swallow. Think you can help me again? I need you to go move those water bolts for me.
What an interesting proposition.
Figure it out? No. Just walk over to the circle and follow my instructions. Move the third bolt 2 centimeters to the left, and the fourth bolt 5 centimeters to the right. This should do the trick.
What? She only wants you to follow instructions. Nothing intellectually stimulating. In this task, a child could do it.
Thanks.
It's awfully so. Measurements have been marked down around the bowls, each chalk-drawn line representing a centimeter on the floor. It moves like a ghost. This task is an insult to your mental skills. Some water spills out of the lead programmer sends you an encouraging thumbs.
Yes, what is it? Great. Everything should be aligned now. Yeah, nothing. Now the only thing left to do is, if we got the location right, we should then be able to hear whatever sound this anomaly makes. Honestly, I'm a little scared. I don't know. That's what I'm scared. I mean, what sound does the nothing make? How can you even listen to something? What if silence is only what surrounds it, but the swallow itself is... Maybe.
Let's think about this logically. Why would nothing be terrifying if it's, well, nothing?
Yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
The lieutenant takes a step, and then nothing happens. As you can hear some small animal cross the floor in the chancel. It's that she doesn't talk. Her eye...
Damn it! No, of course not. Nothing.
Despite her fear, she was hoping for something.
No. My hypothesis was wrong. According to this, I should have heard something if I got the coordinates right. But this is just another failure. You can try on the headphones.
This can't be it. You should have a listen. One more door. There is no way to open the supply depot door. Accept it. You cannot open all the doors. You have to integrate this into your character. Some doors will forever remain closed, even if every single other door will open at one time or another.
Yes, what is it?
Everything disappears. You are draped in silence like a drowning man staring into his... And then the pressure changes. It feels like flying on an aerostatic, or when your ears pop, or like a subtle difference. What if the sound you're looking for is too low for you to hear it?
A better sound system? Alright, but where would we get one?
Suddenly, a rhythmic beat permeates the walls.
They should really allocate some renovation funds to this place.
No. What they really should do is shut down the disco men for disturbing neighborhood. You mean the speed freaks? Of course. The speed freaks. They have a fantastic sound system. I guess I could live through a week or two of peaceful coexistence. Sure. Let me know how it goes. Thanks.
Hi again. So, how are things going? Yes? What's the deal? We are grateful, Copman. You're an augury of a new era of Nordic dance music. That's fine. We can manage. We appreciate it. It's going to take us a bit to move our stuff inside. A couple of hours, maybe.
The Jamrock Shuffle. In a way, yes, you are treasure hunting. Most officers from Precinct 41 do what is called the Jamrock Shuffle, cracking open containers. Most of them are from Jamrock or Coal City, the poorest parts of Revachol, that also overlap with the network of royal catacombs called Le Royaume, just beneath the streets. As children, you would all go underground, hoping to find treasure, and come back with a rat's tail or a used needle. That playful curiosity must still be in you.
Yes, what is it?
What? What did you... I can't hear you! The music is too... Oh, the project! There's that guy! I need him to plug a 3.5 cable into the auxiliary input so that I can route... He doesn't listen to me! He only... Thanks! Maybe you can get through his... Let me know how it goes!
A hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gislain. He stands on stage. The other real deck is empty. Cables run hither and thither.
To the Mega! Yeah! I can route it through auxiliary! What kind of a cable does she use? Oh, she uses 3.5. Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't worry, I have an adapter for it right here. Hang on, this is a 4.5.
Whoa, thank God.
Great! Someone got through to him!
Oh, everybody! Everybody! Don't... The Arno will be back! But we're doing something else for one moment! Alright, go tell her that Egghead is ready to rave to her tunes!
Yes, what is it?
Okay, but... Think you can ask him...
Maximum! Maximum!
I know it is, but...
Pump it to the brick!
Glue style? Okay, there...
See? He pumps it to the Hard Master. It's hopeless. Of course it is.
Yeah!
Never mind then. Let's get on with our project. I'm going to unmute...
Egghead pumps his hand up in the air.
Born ready. Ready.
I'm ready if you two are detectives.
The lieutenant nods stoically.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mute disengaged.
No wind outside. The woman looks around. In the silence, a low hum starts creeping up your spine. It's a song inside you, not in the speakers, not in the room. A great bass sigh in the basement of your mind. The floorboards, the glass.
Guys, what's going on? It's getting louder.
In the basins, the water.
Oceana! Mother of Mega!
He's peaking, the worst high he's ever been on.
The beauty and the beat!
No, Egg! It's the window!
In the corner of your eye, the lieutenant's
The window is going to come down. No, the roof!
cracks appear on the stained glass window.
Come down to earth!
Below it, all the base grows. Like the jaws of a giant, it's shaking the building. A great pulse.
That's it. I'm muting it.
Shit! It doesn't stop. Yes, I've turned it. Andre, pull the compressor!
Fuck! I can't shut.
In the mixing desk now. This is it. A great roar. The vault of the roof twists above, and then it stops. Totally and utterly. As if there never was a sound. Only your ears still.
Egg.
I pulled the plug. It was getting too hardcore.
You did good, Egg. Most of the place seems to be intact. Fucking hell. Programmer lady, tell me you were a...
4 years. 22 people. Millions of reals. All that time? This is what we were up against. Just erased it. Suliswolf isn't gonna believe this.
Yeah, but did you record it though?
Yes, Andre. I recorded it. Damn, I need to say thank you all for doing this. Eggman, you too. And you, officer. I don't know what we've discovered, but I know what it sounds like now. That's the start.
It was very hard not to. I think you're right. There is something going on here. And you need to be very careful with it.
I promise, officer. We will not play it again. It was mathematical information from the anomaly, presented as a waveform. That's what it was technically. I have no idea. I've never even heard of anything like this.
A voice seems muffled in the silent church. It's your ears adjusting after the exposure.
Yes, our lead designer. And maybe some of the producers too. And some of the writers. If they're sober enough to open a They need to hear about this. Don't worry, I won't send the recording. Although I doubt they have the speakers. Stay here! I'm going to stay here with these lunatics. Send letters, maybe meet Suliswolf. Also devise further measurements.
I want you to know that's totally chill with us.
I don't care, but thank you anyway. Now, I have a theory to come up with. Some kind of preliminary explanation to all this. Or the letter will sound like I've lost my mind.
Oh, hi, howdy. Yep, I can see you. I had my mic off and was paying attention to the story.
Yes, and we have to get back to stabilizing Martinez. Instead of demolishing it with loud bass noise of unknown origins.
You don't know enough about the world. But that Joyce, if you knew all she knows, could put it together.
Good morning! Yeah! Hardcore! Yeah! Remix time!
A hand on his ear. He listened.
Wow! Did you get this from Arno himself?
Thanks, man. Just thanks for stopping in.
Listen, I'm just going to show it to you. Ready? If only
we had the beat for the full assault, it would be unbelievably hyper.
What is this? It's good. How did you guys do that?
Yes, but what if Van Eyck based his remix on some forgotten local melody, like a folk song, and you just found the original piece that inspired him to create this jam? That would explain why it fits so well.
Nah, to me it sounds like classic Van Eyck. I don't think he needs any inspiration from folk songs. Maybe he lives in Martinez and just threw away part of his
I think it's just happenstance. Chaos in action. Contingencies of our limited existence. That and Egghead's fantastic talent.
Noid's right. Egghead's No, this is definitely part of the same song. Something cut from it. It fits too well.
The game has been an interesting one. It's almost akin to a visual novel. I mean, I stream on Twitch, and these get uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you're always welcome to go look through any of the YouTubes that I've put up. I don't really have a Discord. I just kind of do this for fun. I'm not really looking to grow anything. It's just... I'm mostly just wanting this... I'm mostly just wanting this to record my gameplay videos to post on YouTube. Just something fun for me to do.
Be how it may, if it fits, it fits! Bring up the volume!
What about the bass? Do you have any idea? Yeah, I remember. You said it needs more bass.
What do we have around here to achieve some sort of...
Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't figure... But it could be hyper hardcore!
You got us in, cop. Between you and me, I don't know if you've noticed this about me. I'm a little suspicious of authority.
Yes, you really came through for the hardcore underground. How come?
Andre is busy cutting some slightly less lame, but still quite ungainly shapes on a cell using her The one with the large head is blasting. Sire, the tent. 'Twas a security risk. And in here, sanctuary. 'Twas only noble of you.
Okay.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
Very rugged. Good choice. Now, I suspect you had questions. Nothing like talking, more lessons in basic reality. My favorite part of the day. Go ahead.
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog, licking. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
You? You're an officer of the RCM. Preciso Mundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
We are.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rule. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that...
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I do hope so. I hope we're able to remain collegial despite it. Remember, we were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. There's blood on many hands, I assure you. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its art.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motorcars.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small...
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades standing 10 meters from them. A single person stands, a cold behind this building, the other one. Old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotten. A building like this must have multiple doors. Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder.
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely. However, the pipe suggests there may be an entrance.
It means the pipe must be coming from.
And it's right here, a maintenance door.
An ordinary, as your eyes adjust, you see some trash. And nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the walls of the pipe. A rusty
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to, in addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal. What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
Teleportation is not a thing. Oh yes, it could hurt a lot.
On second thought, because you're just standing there squeezing your buttocks and nothing is happening, the lieutenant looks at you with that, I know you're thinking the stupid thing look. Behind the pipe, the maintenance door, rust. You and the lieutenant lean all your weight in.
Let's take a breather and try this again later. It's very tough.
Behind the pipe, you and the. Behind the pipe, you and the. Behind the pipe, you. Behind the pipe, the metal doors are heavy and the flaking rust hurts your palms. But together with
good work, shall we?
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spider web in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair matched by an ample moustache and sideburns look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand. Grains stick into the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder. Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point outside the window, desolation. Snow falls.
It's a great place to hide, and Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough. In fact, I think we're done with this bunker.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back. Looks like our suspect. If she's in, once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinaise. The deadlock would keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now, but... We absolutely cannot skip that appointment. Consider that 100% confirmed.
His hand rests on his holster. It's not enough. You need a gun in your hand too. Your gun.
You mean Morel? I don't see how crypto...
If it gets that tense, the amateur zoologists might not be able to do their job.
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we?
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could...
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars?
I wouldn't be so sure. You have...
Or maybe not. Either way.
You're back. Good. What can I...
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say. Is what you're about to say when a cold streak runs through your heart. Once said, there is no going back, Harry. Yes. What if something happens to her and you've left one question unasked? Sneaky little question escaped your eye.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that. Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like...
Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Naturally, Detective. There are lighter topics to gossip about. Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later. More lessons in basic reality. My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. You're back. Good. What can I help? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead.
A strange...
You're back. Good. What can... More lessons in basic reality?
A strange... It's on the tip of your tongue.
You're back. Good. More lessons in basic reality?
What is all of this?
What world?
The camera of her mind glides over the...
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
A frisson lifts the hair on the back of your arm. Wind sweeps the surface of the bay.
The world is a suzerainty of Revachol.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included. Elysium. It does. There are those who would call it hell. A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists. Oh, you want a picture of the world? Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside. So we used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower...
ORG. Occident Rep...
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing to... Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago. You seem to be spooked. They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together. However naive, you have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect, and it's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You see, everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his...
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? This place is an unmarked... It's lovely, really. I'm thinking of buying it. Actually, yes. The thought did cross my mind when Mademoiselle Lily...
You both turn to consider the young woman.
This place could use a competent manager. There's so much to be... Doubtless I'll be off someplace keeping social classes from each other's throats. Let's go back to the big... The Pale is not, technically...
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else. I don't think your colleague would appreciate... Let's continue with something else.
You could sneak back later when the lieutenant is not here, unless you can convince him to step aside.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little...
Hi, gendarme. Another rendezvous. Hi. So what brings you here? You did? And how did you like him? I told you, he can be very useful. I guess that's the charm of powerful people. He has keys, and he likes the view. To the sea, I mean. A visitor from the first world, to his opportunities in Occident, sur la clé. Still, his coming and going bring... Or is it just money? I don't know. What about me, gendarme? Bye-bye, gendarme.
Hello. Lena and I were just discussing the design of the new trap.
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though you should ask the red-headed boy.
A little hooligan.
Oh, my dear Morel. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment in...
Delinquents. My favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty. but no more field trips for me.
He hasn't been particularly forthcoming before.
Really, Gary?
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Morale, it's been fun.
No. No need to apologize, Geary. You'd be more than here.
Officers. My mug? Why would you think that? Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone. Okay, I admit it. I threw the... You're not going to find me, are you? Whew. Thank you. You won't... I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing.
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a map so I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs.
Disgraced. No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all...
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Officer, please. Let me I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. Okay. I was coming to throw the muggle.
Right. It was just...
Exactly.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hard...
What sound? Really? There's lots of weird sound.
Maybe it was pinball.
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth. There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely.
I hope I could help your...
Does this mean you were in his apartment, admiring his colonial mug collection? Perhaps it would be interesting to...
I like to pronounce it
the stupid... He winks at you, trying to relate. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Sure do.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
How? Mr. Clare unlocked my apartment? So you work for Everard Clare? What have I done?
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
I was probably talking too loud in the whirling the other night. I won't do it again. If there's any...
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door-opening operation.
I told you everything I know.
He's not feeling too comfortable. Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something...
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together. As if some... Yes, like a piece of ceramic art.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I was ashamed of what I did. And I...
We're not detecting falsehood, sire.
Gary,
I took the hanged man's...
God damn it, Gary.
I know.
Shame on you. Give the cuirass to the... Gary didn't mean to interfere with your investigation officers. He's just... thick-headed and poor as dirt. But he's always helped us, given us a place to stay. And he's followed Morel into God knows what jungles.
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was what? So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on... Only the cuirass was left. So I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I'd say...
We're detecting sincere contrition here.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you had...
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Seal,
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly.
Because I was weak.
He's a scaredy cat.
I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go...
This is all he knows. He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass, but so light to hold, like a bag of cotton.
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
Fuck does Kuno care? No, Kuno...
So he knows Locust.
Oh my god, I told you that
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to Lane Prison! Deny everything, Kuno.
Kuno's not gonna say...
There's definitely something going on here. Remember his pig's head shack? You should check it out.
Yeah? The Kingdom of... Look at that fucking... Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's...
The lieutenant
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno gets it from his dad. Kuno and his dad had a little falling out. Now Junkie's clawing at Kuno's door. Dirty Popo Man is you. In there is Kuno's violent dad on steroids. Kuno's dad does steroids and speed. If you can take him, you can have half of the speed. Kuno's dad is a fucking monster. He's the most...
Are you sure you can take on the most violent man in Revachol? In your condition?
Like half? A baggy...
That's half a gram.
Yeah, half a G. Want it or not? Okay, Kuno's listening. Sure, whatever. If you survive, make sure just get in the apartment building, go to room 12, first floor, and that's it. Next time, Kuno...
What the hell are you signing us up for here? Okay then.
Kuno doesn't...
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts, like skyscrapers,
Well, detective, It appears you've solved the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a sub-case of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's... Yes. I feel we are nearing a real breakthrough. I'll let you handle the Kuno side.
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah. Kuno took the bugs. So what? It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't... Stop! You stop. It's like their fucking night. Locust...
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastic... The girl forces herself to watch again. The lameness is causing her physical pain. The damage may be permanent.
Kuno, the pig wants to help you. Oh, that's
an artist. Maybe I am an artist. You hear that, everyone?
Did he just say I? Kuno usually calls Kuno, Kuno.
Oh my God, Kuno! He's gonna...
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free. Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants.
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno!
In it, you hear snow melting, dripping from the eaves. Someone closing a window. Without a word, for once, the boy is lost for words. You've got him. Now convince him to leave the cryptozoologist's traps alone.
Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die. It don't mean any pig. You really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. I don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence. Just...
The fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
He recognizes the name.
Bitches think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck does Kuno care? The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't... Kuno doesn't fuck...
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this. So it was just a...
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can...
She acts chipper, but some...
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restart.
He has a 38-degree fever.
Darling, I told you to take it easy.
You're right, you're right. We can come back next season, when it's warmer.
You can? Fine. It's better than having these people...
He wants to see this tale through, as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But he can...
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is...
Here's a fresh batch of locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again.
Wow. Co-discovery. You'd be famous. You'd show them all.
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be...
I don't know what got into him, officer. Thank you for letting him off easy. He won't forget it. We'll make sure.
locusts aren't doing it. The locusts aren't doing all too well, but they're still in there. This is... The trap stands empty. The locusts, dazed from being transported. They're not really going to get the chance.
Good. Now that's done. Well, don't answer that.
Is that the phasmid? It looks like... Wait. What if this is the fishing rod situation all over again? Fine. It's not a phasmid.
Hello, dear. Thank you for doing that, dear. Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him. I'm sorry, dear. You've had to drudge through them so many times.
Her voice is shaky.
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk.
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
That really is too much, sweetie.
Very strange. Why is she not letting me do this?
Different? How? I'm not. It's, Do you ever wonder if some lovely story... Seeing the Insulindian phasmid was just a story I used to tell people. Morel's so proud of it. He always tells everyone. No, sweetie. There's more to it than that. Morel was so that I'm some queen of the cryptozoology. But now, we're both getting old, and he's still working himself sick out in those reeds looking for it.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything. An acorn is not the same as the tree. That requires time, diligence, and care.
But it is. We've spent years searching. If I hadn't led him down this path...
You know, this reminds you of the Pericanassian theory of love. In essence, love is a relay out of death. Generation by generation, our love remains in our progeny. Lay some of that on her.
Oh, sweetie, I don't think the Pericarnassians were thinking of people in my situation. I was a paraplegic before we met. He didn't know before.
She has to swallow to relax her throat. It's keeping her from talking.
Maybe, but then why do I not dare tell him? What you have to know is the Insulindian phasmid probably does not exist. Let us fools chase our goal.
Are there? Some of the other things are pretty bad.
I'm not sure of anything. Some other way, I should go. Poor Morel is running a fever, and I need to get him home to Jamrock before we overstay our welcome with Gary.
Really?
Oh, sweetie. Please don't get stuck on a dream. Take it... Okay, it's 1113 Tabernacle Road, Jamrock, but... You're welcome, sweetie. I'm glad it helped you, even though it...
A waste of time. A lie. Fools like that. She drives off. The gas engine putters quietly as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside,
we should go to...
Somewhere out there, a kilometer to the southeast, a gust of wind shakes the feld.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
There's something that binds you to him. Some kind of an outfit, exactamundo. Of course, you don't have to. You can talk about anything you want.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
You know what it is.
Oh, I definitely...
Another life.
Yes, from another life. A different life. To what station do you think you would belong in this alternate and totally fictional reality?
I think even in this fictional reality, the 50...
My condolences. Go ahead. Have another guess. Okay. That's plausible. That's entirely plausible. Now we're somewhere good. Okay. Let's be crazy. Let's say you and I are partners. How's that for a thought experiment? I'm sure he's fucking flattered.
The lieutenant is silent.
No, because in this thought experiment, we are police officers.
Come on, stop it.
Oh, no. You see, I enjoy watching other better cops.
This isn't helping.
You're not going to believe this, but yes, sir. Solving crimes, locking up just some regular boring motherfuckers in suits and uniforms. Nothing spectacularly extravagant like you, the far-out son of... Oh, it's you eccentric genius. I mean, with your unorthodox approach to police work, it has to be. Not even a little bit.
It's an urban myth about an officer who is so far undercover he can't remember who he is. As I said, just an urban myth. You are not the son of Lang.
Okay, yes. You get the joke. Leave it at...
Neither can I, partner. Neither can I. About what? You don't look like a cop. You know what you look like? Exactly. No. 'Cause it's not my job. Why don't you go and fucking do yours and solve this damn hanging? Or we could go back to doing our jobs. This was stupid.
Okay, the man with the sunglasses and his hypothetical Station 41. Weird, right? There's something missing here. Something you can't put our finger on. You know what? Just ask him. Yes, just cross it off.
Again? I can't. I'm going to say no. Just to see what you'll say to that. What'd you say? Okay.
Jean, he said...
Okay, I was clearly wrong. He is a firefighter, male nurse, animal control agent, something of that kind. Not a cop.
Yes? What is it?
God damn it, you leave her alone. Keep your weird bullshit.
Can I actually help you with...
Yes, of course. Preposterous. I mean, you would remember if they were.
Can I help you? What is this thing? Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So
I feel good about our work here today.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it. The trap is... The trap is filled with dead and dying locusts. Most of... A few locusts trudge along the wall of the trap. elements guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune. Just dead and dying.
Yes, what is it?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day.
Good idea. Just ask him. He won't.
Fine.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Are you sure you're sure? Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde. An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear. Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
That's right. The negation of being. No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there. 6,000, an uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor, marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see. It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible. Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged extensively. Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue. It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
No, Lieutenant Dubois. I'm entreprenetic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well.
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
You should ask the PAL driver about this. See what she says.
Up to my gills, officer. Entreprenetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere.
There are signs of pretermodern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years. Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure. Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter. And the ratio... What do you think, Detective? Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same. It doesn't look like you're doing the same. The suggestion was meant in earnest, Detective. Live life. Yes, sweet reality. But is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale. You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then... I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile, you have me. I will assist you in any way I can.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now? But I did. Anyway.
Damn it, you're a grown man, the lieutenant thinks. Shouldn't have gotten protective hair.
Good luck, Detective.
I'm going to take a little break for dinner. And then we will come back to this. So we will log out for now. I thank you all for watching. Thanks for the people who stopped in. And we'll be back in about an hour.